Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Making It with Marcus and Mariana. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Mariana.
How you doing, babe?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I think we are both very excited to sit down and dive a little bit deeper into our relationship in and outside of the workforce and kind of to some of the things that help us succeed in our careers.
But first, let's look at a little clip brought to you by Void Walker Creative, a production company that we work very closely with, and this podcast would not be possible without. So take a look. My name is Mariana Ismail. I'm a producer, director, and writer, and this is for Void Walker Creative. 10 years from now, I see myself owning my own production company, turning heads left and right with what's to come out on television, what movies next. You might not know me yet, but there's big things coming, and I really think that what's gonna help us as a world be better is just, again, don't judge each other. Look to the person to the right or the left of you and, ask how their day is going and really show the love. My name is Mariana Ismail. I'm a producer, director, and writer, and I am Void Walker. Honestly, we've been through so much together, and I previously said that we met in 2016, but I was wrong. We met in 2017. It was still Coachella, and we've grown a lot since then. Our relationship, our friendship, and we took a 6-year friendship and turned it into a romantic relationship, and it was a lot of growth. It's pretty not rare because people like to say that female-male friendships can't work, but I disagree. I really think they can, and we were platonic for the whole time, truly. And then I had an epiphany that I like Marcus, and it really grew from there. I took some time and I let it simmer inside of me, and I went to other people for advice, and I was like, what do I do? He might not like me back. And I think like everyone can relate to that like second guess feeling of that person may or may not like me. And I mean, here we are. So, but yeah, I had this epiphany, and it was not until I finally got, these feelings, and I was like, man, if I'm feeling them, maybe he is, but I don't know. And I don't know, how did you feel at that time?
Yeah, I think about the same time you had that epiphany, I kind of started to catch on pretty quickly. I could sense there was a little slight vibe change in our relationship, and the banter between us kind of was a little bit softer, sweeter than it normally is. And so I figured it was probably the best decision for me at that time to throw some shots out there as my feelings were starting to grow for her. And I threw a little shots out there to see what kind of responses I would get. And clearly the responses were good.
Yeah, well, those little shots, we'll call them, definitely gave me the initiative. Like, I paid attention, and they gave me the initiative to make the first move, and I take full credit for this beautiful relationship. And the first move that I had to make, now he has to make all of the other first moves.
Every single one.
Well, not every single one, but most of them. But yeah, it was that kind of like, we always say we fell asleep and woke up one night and we were dating, but it really was this transformation in our relationship that we went through, and we kind of did it for about a month together without telling many people. I think I probably told like 1 or 2 people that didn't know us as a friendship. A coworker who actually did give me the advice of keeping it to ourselves. And I think that time that we kept to ourselves was really powerful because we got to figure each other out. And then when it was time, to tell people, like family, Marcus's family specifically, because the holidays were coming up and we're about to spend it with them. And that was really important and a big thing for us, especially because so many people knew us as friends that it was like, what's going on? And we really wanted to take the time and figure us out and explore those routes of our relationship.
Totally. I think that month did so much good for us. It really helped us build on our friendship and take our relationship to another level. And we were able to just learn each other, and it gave me time to, not be comfortable, but be open to telling my entire family, because in my family, one person hears about something and everybody hears. You don't even know. You might get a group text or a Facebook post within the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think she told one person and he called the entire family immediately. So, you know what I mean? It's just, I already knew she had amazing intentions and she's a great person. So it wasn't something like I was scared to tell my family or my friends. It was, just that we just wanted to learn each other and make sure that we were in the same space and on the same page about everything, because at the end of the day, we are best friends and we don't want to break our friendship for anything.
I think what's also really great about our relationship is that we've already built that really strong foundation that's gotten us here. It's built on loyalty, trust, being there when we really needed. I know there was many of times when I lived alone and I needed Marcus to call upon. He was probably my first or second call, and you know, just being there immediately. That's super important. And I know that whether we're just out hanging about, we're out at night or just bringing our friends together, it's always just so amazing that we have this bond and we're able to grow together in that. And even in the past, we have.
Yeah, I think our friendship in the past, our bond, really, really helped us and gave us a big advantage at work. We were able to watch out for each other and look out for each other in certain situations, whether it's a person or a TV show, whatever it is. We were able to always have somebody by our side that we can fully trust. And I knew I can always rely on you, and you would always be there for me when I need you.
Yeah, and it's definitely in the workforce. I always think it's funny because you never really know who is true, and you don't know. Not to say shit talk at work, because you should never shit talk at work, but you just never know who you could go vent to, right? If there's something that's affecting you, and then that person takes it a certain type of way, and really trusting and knowing who those people are that are around you, and being able to continue to be, around those people and grow in that industry. But yeah, I think that's a really crucial part, is knowing who isn't toxic and who is toxic, who's willing to help you and who isn't. And
Yeah, those connections are extremely important. We were lucky to have each other when we first started, and it's not always going to be like that for everybody. We truly really were lucky that we were in the same industry and are best friends, and just ended up in the same place at the same time. But those types of connections, to finding people like that you can fully trust and rely on to give you a hand and just be around and help you when you're in need and stuff. Help you when you're in need of certain things.
yeah, and that actually brings me into a very important topic about the career aspect of today. And my favorite part is networking. So I'm an expert. I don't want to say an expert because I don't put a title on it. I love to network. Okay. Networking to me is so much fun. At first, I wasn't the best at it. I've lived in Los Angeles for about 10 years now, and it wasn't until maybe 3 years ago, right before COVID hit, that I realized how important it is to network. And people say it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And truly, I believe it. I stand by it. I say it to everyone. I probably repeat it once or twice a week, just to one person or two people I've just met. So it's crucial in that fact that you don't know who's next to you at any time of day. Someone once told me, think about when you go to the gym, that is also a networking event. You could be on the treadmill next to Steven Spielberg and don't even know it. When I catch him there, shoot, you could be a dancer, an athlete, and you're just driving, and then athletes at 24-hour fitness with you. So just think about those opportunities that you do have if it's just day to day. And then...
Just from my perspective, because networking isn't my strong suit, what is it that you do in terms of networking that's helped you along the way?
Me personally, I go to networking events. You can find them for free online. A lot of the time. So it's based on your category too. It doesn't have to be television. There's a lot of women-based ones, men-based ones that are not just general, but they're really toward just people who are driven towards their passion, right? So I've gone to one that's a women's panel, and you just sit there and they're up there talking about what they do, how they've done it, and then they come down, they speak with you, and you're able to connect with them. So those are great people who are business owners, it's funny, you just traveling. Traveling is another form of networking. You never know where you're going to be and who's going to be there. It's a lot of that. It's just, and even when you're there in those situations, you don't have to think, oh my God, I have to act this way or be a certain type of way because, oh my God, this person might be there. No, be yourself, because that's what is going to attract those people that want to be around you. The people that just are around you just because you're just doing whatever, they don't know you. And they may not get to know you because you're not yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of the times people, I mean, I've been told at work before that I'm intimidating or I was scary, or they thought, like Marcus thought, that I was a bitch. But, and it's not the, I don't, in the moment I've owned it, because maybe you did catch me at a moment where I was just being straightforward, blunt, or hard hitting, and just like, this is how it's going to be. But that's one, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I really care a lot about what I'm doing. And I also want to make sure that how I'm telling you, you're doing it right. And that's a really big part. But also with that, and I've heard that all these comments about me, that I don't want to come off as this type of person that, you know, is a bitch, or when they think of me, and I don't get the time to overcome those thoughts, because first impressions really do matter. And with this, it's they say, I think, 7 seconds is the first impression.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your first impression of me was that. Imagine if we didn't get to spend the whole weekend together.
Exactly. It could have been a whole different perspective.
We might not be sitting here everything happens for a reason, so we're sitting here on the couch. But we might not have been. So I really do think that's super important, is just first impressions and carrying yourself the way you look in the mirror. You know, when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I love me, I'm great, cool. Go out and be that exact same person in front of somebody else, because that's what they're going to love. And if they don't, they're not meant to be in your life. They're not meant to help you. They're not meant to guide you. None of that. And that's okay. Like, not everybody is meant to align like that. So I think that's a really important thing in networking and in life, is just being yourself, truly. Let me drink on my apple juice.
Yeah, I totally agree and can get behind that being your honest, truest self will align you with the right people, and it's going to point you in the right direction of success, especially if you express your passion, express how much you really want to learn in the industry. Whatever industry it is, it's not just about production, it's about everybody. And, you know, as long as you're passionate and you show it, people will see that, and people obviously gravitate towards it.
Most definitely. I don't know, when I'm out and about and I see people, I'm like, oh, you know, you look really cool. I want to go talk to you, just based off of maybe the conversation that they're having with somebody else. And that to me speaks volumes too, because it's like you're feeling their energy from afar. And I want someone to feel that for me. Like, I want to go out and know that, like, I left an impression on someone, or, you know, I met like 5 people tonight. Cool, you know. And a lot of the times it's social media nowadays. It's networking, having a LinkedIn, or follow me on Instagram. Those are really crucial things in today. But, you know, it's just a matter of like also keeping up with those relationships.
Yeah, because those could turn into being some very important, long-lasting relationships.
I mean, a lot of my jobs recently have been through current other people that I know, that I've networked with. You know, I worked on a show with one person who got me a job at another person, and I'm working at that job, and I go out to a party or after work rap party, and I'm seeing someone else who works on another show, and they're like, hey, oh my gosh, she'd be great. Or someone who was even a day player on a show. I've had someone come in as a costumer on a show, and him and I leave, and that was years ago, and we're still friends to this day. He works events, I go to his events. He needs help with a producer, I help him produce things. He's just, and it's that type of networking and being able to just, hey, I need help, or hey, you know, I got a job. Those people that are willing to give, and not just those take. So really pay attention also to the people that are just take. Those are red flags. Anyone who you kind of get that just one little ick, or that red flag, use your first instinct, your gut, and just know that, you know, maybe this isn't the person for me. They don't really mesh with my views on life, or what they're doing, their actions speak louder than words. So pay attention to those people and really be able to vet through. And I know in the production industry, in this especially if you're in LA, there's a lot of like, it's a facade, right? It's a glamour life. So a lot of people will live in that glitz and glamour and just try to, like, I've been around a lot of glitz and glamour people, and you really see who people truly are when the shit hits the fan, or when, you know, shit hits the fan as reality, in that sense. So just, you know, really truly know who the people are closest to you and trust in them. And the second you do find them, you're able to use them, not use them, they're able to help you later in life achieve your goals, and you can help them. And that's something that we do for each other. Is like, I know I'm really good at networking and meeting people out and about, and Marcus always isn't always like that. So like anytime I meet someone, like, hey, this is Marcus, my boyfriend, he's production coordinator, he does da 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 da. So it's also being able to hype up your friends. Like one of my best friends, her and I are always hyping each other up. Like, hey girl, you're gonna get this next thing, or you're gonna get this modeling gig or whatnot. So just knowing that you have a support system and being able to build that, it's all within yourself and the confidence. And even if you're not a talker, it's okay. Like there's so many ways to go about networking. A lot of time it's applying for jobs, and personally, I'm not that person. That is like, I have no time or patience for that. That is all Marcus.
Yeah, that's totally me. I'm a huge proponent for just, doing it the old fashioned way, even though now it's all online. But the old fashioned way of just applying for jobs and putting your resume and your cover letters out there. It may not be networking out at an event, but you're going to meet so many people that are professionals and high level people that know how to get through the industry, have been in the place that you're in. They've been through interviews just like this. There's so many different kinds. I've just went through the last round of interviews I did for this job. It was pretty scary. It was 4 panel interviews of 4 people. So it was not just a one and done situation, and it wasn't just a one-on-one situation. I had to be prepared to answer questions from 16 different people over a period of, a couple of weeks.
How do you prepare for something like that?
I think it's not necessarily the preparation. It's more of just understanding who you are, because that's something that you don't even know what's going to happen. There's going to be so many different questions and so many opinions on the other side of the screen, because it was an online interview, on the other side of the screen or the other side of the table. And just know who you are, know the little things that got you to where you are. For me, I know my communication is something that I can always work on. So I'm always honest with any interview that I've ever had, is that my communication is something that I need to work on, and I am aiming to make it better and get as good as possible as I can. And I think that the honest, genuine aspect of someone's person as they're interviewing for a job is something that employers or future employers gravitate towards. And I think that they like to see that side, because they, at the end of the day, they want to know who it is that they're hiring, what they're going to be getting when you come into the office and come on set and work for the day. They need to know. And as long as you're willing to just take the time and just be real about who you are and what it is that you want, I think that sets you up to have success when you're applying for jobs and interviewing and throughout your process. I also have some really good resources that I think are super useful as you're going through the interview process and applying for jobs. Facebook groups are huge. There's so many jobs on there and so many people that are just like you that are going to be, looking for the same jobs and can potentially give you advice as you're going through. Backstage for people in production is a very good one to use. Staff Me Up is probably my favorite. I've had a lot of success on Staff Me Up and finding long-lasting jobs, even just a couple of day gigs or a one-day gig. It doesn't matter. I've found success and I've gotten paid through it. So don't hate on Staff Me Up.
He's like the only person that I know to get like 5 jobs off Staff Me Up. I still have not gotten a job off Staff Me Up. Like I'm the network. I'm not the applier.
Right. But yeah, I know you're not about the applying for jobs and clicking through all the boxes. I mean, it does get frustrating and it's tiring. It's not easy to apply to so many jobs and get rejected, and sometimes you don't even hear back. But as long as you just got to stay steadfast in what you want and aiming for your dreams. I think that was a big turning point for me, is when I last was unemployed. I decided that I'm gonna sacrifice time for my happiness. And I, really decided I wanted to pinpoint exactly what it is that my niche is in the industry. And I focused heavily on it. I only applied to jobs in the sports industry. I went very hard at it. And I took every single interview that you could possibly think of. And it was just, there was no other way for me at that point. I think I spent enough time in the industry and had enough experiences where I knew that being passionate about my work is going to lead me to being able to make my dreams come true.
Hey there, marvelous movers and shakers, tuning in to Making It with Marcus and Mariana. Are you ready to be a badass in a career that brings you pleasure? I'm Madison, dear friends of your new favorite podcast hosts and friendly neighborhood pleasure positive podcast host. And holy F, I've got something mind-blowing for you. Brace yourselves, because your career is about to get a pleasure-filled upgrade. If you're ready to level up your career game and reconnect with your inner badass, you're in for a treat. Picture this, a 21-day self-worth reset course designed to unleash your inherent power, brought to you by the Pleasure Positive Podcast. We've curated the best exercises and pleasure practices for self-worth from over 300 episodes of our top-rated sexuality podcast. And trust me, this is a game changer. Every day, you'll have access to guided audio prompts, journal prompts, custom meditations, basically all the secret sauce that has turned our Pleasure Positive Podcast into a must-listen phenomenon. But wait, there's more. Dive into our private Facebook group. It's like the Hogwarts of self-love, full of support and connection to empower you through the 21 days. Now here's the kicker. This transformative journey is normally valued at $37, but it's on the house for you extraordinary listeners of Making It with Mar. Yeah, you heard it right, free. So if you're ready to treat yourself like the VIP you are, reclaim your essence, and kickstart an extraordinary career, sprint over to pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar to snatch up your free gift. Your self-worth is like a rare gem. Precious, undeniable, and definitely worth flaunting. Don't wait. Take the first steps towards the career of your dreams. Visit pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar now and let the magic begin. Disclaimer, this offer is as wild as a unicorn ride with limited time and quirky conditions. Check the website for all the delightful details. Once again, that's pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar. pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar.
You know, I truly believe it's all about being in the workspace that you're truly passionate about. That's the ultimate dream. I don't think work should ever feel like work. You definitely have to try out a few different things until you find out what fits. And, I think it's kind of like The Bachelor.
Yeah, you try out new things until it fits, but sometimes it never fits, and sometimes you just have to leave your job or leave your industry. That's not always a bad thing. A lot of people, like me in particular, I feel comfortable sometimes sitting in the same position and honing my skills, and it's looked at as a bad thing sometimes, like you're complacent or just too comfortable in your job. But I think it's healthy to be able to hone your skills. But if you do feel like you need to switch jobs, that's where the networking comes in hand. Like, that's where a lot of your connections that you've raised over the years, and you continue to grow and flourish, like those are the people that you can now rely on and reach out to for the next gig that comes up or whatever the next show is or something like that. That is the exact time to put those things to use.
Yeah, I know that for me, I definitely like to continue to grow from hopping. I see myself right now, I've been working on 2 different shows. The last 2 shows I worked on were season 1 shows. I like starting off something fresh. We both actually say that we love working in the chaos of things. But I just know that when I'm able to experience those new things, I see what fails right off the bat, what's not working, what is working. And I really find enjoyment in setting the stone with places, but also like knowing that I'm learning different things at these jobs that are all kind of going into one big pile of like my knowledge of what I know. And I just take from all of that as another lesson to be learned or another, job on my resume, and keep going from there, because, I want to be on top one day, and I got to continue to, it's like a ladder. So
yeah, and a lot of those things that we see in those shows that are season 1 or startups or whatever, we've both been a part of those, and things that fail, we know, as we want to make a production company, those are the things that we know now to avoid. Like, we kind of just almost keep like a running list of things what not to do and what to do as we go. And
Even for this even
Yeah.
for this podcast. I mean, you see, we don't have note cards. We
Exactly.
ditched those. We're still figuring it out. We're still figuring out the, the lay of the land, the
Yeah.
podcast land.
It's a journey. It's a process for everybody, and everybody's going to do everything at their own pace. I'm never going to be a director tomorrow. I'm not going to be a director tomorrow just because I want to be. I got to work for it, and same for you. I know that you're always going to work for what you want, and that's why we work really well together. Is because we push each other to be the best that we can.
Yeah. Another thing in that too is just having the people around us knowing that like what our main focus is, and that a lot of the times it's work. I know I don't often get to see my friends. Like I have friends complain like, "Oh, it's your fault." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's like there's a big picture here."
Yeah.
And those people will support you through it, and I support them. So like friends in this industry, I need a job, they also need a job. So we're able to help those people out and say like, I'm working on something, come on over and work with us.
Yep.
Like Justin, our great cameraman, there's a lot of the times where we have a gig that someone will hit us up for and they need a cameraman, and we're like, oh, we got one, cool, here you go.
Yep.
And so from one job to the next job, and we're building our team that way also.
Exactly.
So just knowing that we're creating our mini production within, and our family, and everyone that is in between and outside of that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have helped us as we've grown, and we want to give back and be able to help our friends that are younger and just starting, and even people that are older than us that maybe have just had some bad luck and couldn't find a gig. And if I come across something, or I get hit up, I get messages on LinkedIn all the time just asking for advice, or some people that I haven't talked to in years that just trusted me at one point and are like, hey, do you have something, or do you know of anybody that's hiring? As soon as I get a message, I will send it their way, because I know that person will in the future have my back if I'm in that situation again. And it's very important for me, and I get a lot of satisfaction, and I feel a lot of pride helping out my friends and my close ones that have been there for me when I needed it.
And we'll continue to be there because we continue to show the support and love, and we will continue to do that on every episode here on out.
Absolutely. Being in that type of a position when you don't have a job, and you don't exactly know what your next move is, it's scary. It's not easy. So you just have to be willing to take a little bit of a leap of faith and just dive in head first, because some great things can come along. You never really know.
Yeah, I think that if you're always your truest self, your greatest potential will always shine through.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
And that is what this podcast is all about, and what we hope to bring you guys in further episodes, as we continue to dive deeper and deeper into our dreams and other people's. We will start to interview some more amazing people, friends and family, along the way. So stay tuned as we embark on this great journey together. But don't forget to do the important stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. Don't forget to hit us in the DMs, the PMs, all them's. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in to Making It with Marcus and Mariana. I'm Mariana.
And I'm Marcus.
Bye, guys.